Welcome, everyone, to Influential Leadership. I'm John Hadley.
And I'm Dave Miller.
So, Dave, I was reading in the paper an interview with Aaron Ain, the CEO of Cronus, a workforce management system group. And there was a quote he gave that just really resonated with me. So I wanted to share that this week. One of the things he said was that most people would rather have a lousy job working for a great person than a great job working for a bad manager. And I think that's really true. I think back to the last rotation I made as an actuarial student. And I had an old boss that I loved working for who came to me and said, my financial manager isn't really working out. If you will agree to rotate in to my operation, I will find something else for him to do, and I'll make you the financial manager, and then we'll close out the role so it's a permanent job. I really, at that point, had felt financial wasn't really the sort of role I wanted. I was more interested in product, but he was someone I really wanted to work for again, and I didn't hesitate. I said, yes, definitely, count me in. The job turned out to be more interesting than I thought, but also 6 months later, he asked me to take over the product management role. So I got to the role I really wanted, but I was working for the person that I love to work for. He's very motivating.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, this is a statistic I have read many times. I think I've read that 90% of your job satisfaction is directly linked to your manager.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could be in a terrible culture, but have a great manager, and that may be enough to make you stay. And certainly the other way around, you could be in a great company, but if you have an awful manager, you're going to leave.
Yep. In fact, I had a client a few years ago who was in a toxic environment where he was building, in effect, a new consulting line for them. And he was doing a great job. He loved what he was doing, but his boss and the company really didn't support his line. They didn't understand it. They didn't believe in it. So even though it was throwing off a great revenue stream for them, they were really treating him like a stepchild. And a year later, we had taken what he was just doing as a little side gig involving that, turned it into his own consulting practice. So he was doing exactly what he'd been doing for them, but now he was doing it on his own, making more money than he'd made as an employee, and just has continued to grow from there forward, loving what he does.
Because he's working for himself.
Yeah, he's got a great boss now. So the other thing that Aaron went on to say that I thought it kind of relates to this, and it's very powerful. He said, managing and leading people is a privilege. Mm-hmm. And he asked the question, do you really understand the impact you have on your people? And how do your actions reflect that you understand that?
Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah, so what I would challenge our listeners to do in this next week is take an inventory of the ways in which your actions, what you're doing, is impacting your people, or the ways you want what you're doing to impact your people, and then come up with at least one thing that in the next 2 weeks you can do to start having more impact in the ways that you want to have it.
Yeah, I love that homework assignment, John, and I think one thing leaders need to think about is, I think it's easy to minimize in our own minds the impact we really have on the people around us. Mm-hmm. We think, and I guess the message we're putting out there to leaders is that, hey, it matters. What you say matters. You can ruin somebody's day if you're in a bad mood. I mean, at night they could have a sleepless night. So to really kind of steward that power, if you will, that you have.
Yeah, you can have
position.
you can have it a huge negative or a huge positive impact
Right.
just in what you say. And we're all told, oh, have all these great positive things, but think about the others too. I had a boss who once called me while I was on vacation to tell me that the day I get back, we were going to have a very difficult conversation. So just think of what impact that had on my psychology for the rest of the holiday season.
Yeah, that was good timing.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to share today. So have a great week.
And until then, be influential.